Yes, greetings. This is Dr. Della Welch. These are questions and answers for you to review constitutional law. We'll start out with the first one. This will be a true or false question. The Fifth Amendment protects individuals from unreasonable searches and seizures. That is false. It is the Fourth Amendment that protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. Some people think it protects against all searches and seizures, but that is incorrect. It's unreasonable searches and seizures. The next question. The powers of the states are specifically stated or enumerated in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. This is false. The powers of the federal government are specifically enumerated in Article 1, Section 8 of the United States Constitution. And of course the main one is the Commerce Clause. However, for states, we're looking at the 10th Amendment is the state's police power. And I gave you a mnemonic. Who stole my wife? Health, safety, morals, welfare. Those are the powers of the state and often called the state's police power. Now, going on to another question. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution grants Congress the power to A, raise and support an army. That looks good. B, regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states. That looks good. C, health, safety, morals, and welfare for states' rights. That would not be correct. So D, which is A and B, or raising and supporting an army and regulating commerce would be the correct answers. Now going on to some other questions in constitutional law. One that's very important. Administrative agencies are not required to provide due process to persons who are summoned before them for a hearing on charges. That would be false. Governmental agencies are bound by the 14th Amendment if they're state government agencies. If they're federal government agencies, by the 5th Amendment. You cannot deprive someone of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, which is usually a notice and a hearing. So, U.S. versus Nixon ruled that the president is above the law. That's false. They look back to the decision in Marbury versus Madison, and they said if there's a dispute between the three branches of government, the United States Supreme Court prevails when there is a conflict. So if we were to ask, under Marbury versus Madison, the legislative branch prevails where there is a conflict among the three branches of government, that would be false because it is the Supreme Court and not the legislative branch. The next question, which of the following is the only amendment to apply to private individuals? All the amendments other than this one requires government action or state action. So here are the options. A, First Amendment. No, that doesn't look correct. B, Fourth Amendment. No, that doesn't look correct. C, 13th Amendment. That is correct. So the 13th Amendment says you cannot make someone your slave. And so that is the only one to apply to private individuals that came out of the Civil War. All of the rest require state action. Now looking at some other problems. Number one, the Constitution specifies a long list of congressional powers. True. And if I were to ask you, where is that located? You would say Article 1, Section 8 has the enumerated powers. The protections of the 14th Amendment apply only for individuals and not businesses. True or false? That would be false, because the 14th Amendment does apply to individuals and businesses. Next question. The Supreme Court has never reversed itself on major constitutional issues. That is true or false? Well, if you see the word never, then that's probably not the correct answer. But the Supreme Court has reversed itself, so that would be false. On the Gobitis decision, members of one religious group were first made to salute the flag, and then they changed their mind that they no longer had to salute the flag. And so that is an example of change. Another example of change is Plessy v. Ferguson. That first held that separate but equal is equal. However, in Brown v. Board of Education, the court said, under the Warren Court, that separate but equal is not equal. So that is a major change. Okay, our next one. The 26th Amendment to the Constitution, ratified in 1971, lowered the voting age to 18. That is true. It was felt that if our young men or women were old enough to fight for our country, they should be able to vote. Next, the Equal Rights Amendment to the Constitution finally passed in 1986. That would be false. It fell 3 states short. It was felt that with the Equal Pay Act and with Title VII and those prohibitions against discrimination, many felt the Equal Rights Amendment was not needed. Next, freedom of speech under the First Amendment is absolute and includes libelous or false speech. That would be false. None of these rights are absolute. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. You cannot say fighting words. You cannot say libelous or false speech. So now on the next tape, we will be continuing on and be able to do further questions on the constitutional law area.